Hi folks, Chuck here with Hillbilly Half Acre Homestead. I built me this handy dandy new tool for breaking down pallets. Makes it a little easier to recycle pallet wood. Stick around, I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay folks, I think this whole apparatus here, I think it's going to be about 8 inches wide, so that's what I'm going to cut this piece of angle iron at. So, I'm going to make a mark. Take a sharp point on one of these. It doesn't have to be an exact. None of these measurements really need to be exact on this project. But I'm going to mark that. Okay. And take my speed square. Alright. Mark one very good. I wanted to double check. Like I said, it don't have to be accurate, but I do like for them to be, the cut to be square, if I can manage it. Okay. Okay. There's still a few teeth left in that one. Yeah, I don't have all the machinery for this type of work that I'd like to have, but so this will be a little slow going. I'll get this started here. Main thing is I got my line there, and I go nice and slow, making a full stroke cut until I get it started. And then once you get that started and you've got a little groove going there, you really can't hardly cut it wrong as long as you stay in the groove. Okay, so nice and slow. I use both hands. I will probably cut a lot of this boring stuff out or speed it up and set it to music for you, because my hands don't do real well gripping this saw, and I'll have to take pretty frequent breaks to get this cut. You don't want to be, interested in all that. So if I forget to cut the camera off in between or what have you, I'll just cut all that out. I won't bore you with all that stuff, but with the diabetic neuropathy and what have you that I have in my hands. For those of you just joining in, I collect a lot of pallets, and a lot of you already know this, but a pallet is a very good thing to use on a homestead when you're poor like me and can't afford all the materials you need to build things. I need new shelters all over the place out here for my rabbits. We need chicken coops because we've got several different breeds of chickens and we're running them all together right now, and that's not desirable because we want those to be breeding true to their own breed. So right now they're just all intermingling, and unfortunately, you've heard, if you see barnyard mix chicks advertised anywhere on Facebook or Craigslist or something, well, that's just what they are. They take multiple breeds of chickens and roosters, they turn them all loose in the same pen, and you just don't know who fertilized what, and so you don't have anything true to the breed you're trying to raise. Which, if all you're after is meat and eggs, it doesn't really matter. But Dana has a couple of breeds back here that she's wanting to be able to hatch purebred chicks and possibly sell some purebred or fertilized hatching eggs. And you can't, You can't do that. You know, I mean, some people do, I guess, but you know, if they can sleep at night, I guess that's their business. But I can't tell somebody, okay, we've got fertilized silky hatching eggs, if I've got a Rhode Island red rooster that also has access to that silky hen. Okay, my conscience won't let me tell you that they're purebred silkies if they're not. Okay, some people will. I found that out with rabbits, which is why I don't deal, well, other than the Netherlands, and that's only because those are my rabbits. Those aren't coming from anywhere else. I know where they came from, and I know who everybody's mom and daddy is, because everybody except my original couple were born out here and what have you, so I don't have to worry about it. But everything else out here has a pedigree, or I don't want it. It runs into some trouble sometimes because people don't want to pay for a pedigree rabbit if they buy some from you. But you know, there's enough people selling, you know, crossbred mutts across the Facebook channels and Craigslist and what have you that, you know, they don't need me. They don't need me selling any more of them. But all right, that's enough about that. I'm gonna cut this off, and the way I cut angle iron is I'll make a cut, and once I'm all the way through, I will flip that 90 degrees and cut the other side the same way. Nothing to it. It just takes, all it takes is time. Unless the Lord decides He needs me tomorrow, I guess I've got plenty of time, because I sure don't have the money to buy what I need to cut that a lot faster. I have got a cut-off tool over there, but my hands won't hardly let me hang on to it very well. All right. Get back with y'all in a few minutes. Okay, you can see we got it. There we go. Anyway, once that releases, then I can move that. No problem, but just need to kind of switch that around. Sit up there now. There. I don't need that way out there. It's actually better if the closer you make your cut to the vise, it's actually better to give it more support. Anyway, for this cut, already got a mark there, so I'm just gonna take, and that'll work, I think. So I'm just gonna lay that up there. Whoops. And all I had to do was make a mark. Okay? Now that's how I found it to be the easiest way to cut angle iron. And now that the mark's there, as long as I hit that mark, I can go on just like I did the first set. Okay, there we go, no problem. By the way, I know a lot of things from Harbor Freight, folks, are junk. I'll be the first one to admit that. But these 18 packs of hacksaw blades, this is an 18 tooth for, I think it's $4.99 or $5.99. Hey, you can't beat them, folks. These things will outlast the ones I give the blades I give $1 a piece for at Walmart and Lowe's and the dollar store, or not the dollar store, but the Napa store. A lot of the blades I get $1 a piece for, or sometimes more. These actually outlast those. So I'll be buying more of them. Go through very many hacksaw blades, it'd be worth your trouble to give them a shot. I've got a project coming up. I'm going to be cutting a lot of metal and what have you, and so I was going to need a lot of blades, and I thought, heck, for that price, even if I have to, even if I only get 2 or 3 cuts per blade, I think they would still be cheaper than what I'd been paying, but they do way better than that. I think I had one of these blades. I was cutting some of this. Of course, this is just 1/8 inch thick angle iron, but I think I had, I don't know, 16 or 20 cuts on a blade. Yeah, it had some teeth missing, and it was ready to go. But I was that close to being finished with what I was working on, and I just didn't see no need to change out and start dulling a new blade as close as I was to being through. So if you might think that I'm using this hacksaw wrong, but that's what I used to think too. But pull the hacksaw or release the pressure. The way you just saw me cutting it is wrong. Okay? Pull it back here, push it forward. Pull it back, push it forward. Pick it up out of the groove and pull it back. Okay? I've kind of learned to deal with that squeaking sound. Some people say it causes them problems, but I've learned to deal with it. If you do this, you're wearing down the teeth on your hacksaw blade every time you pull it back. Okay? The saw is only cutting when you push forward. Check it out for yourself. If you put the saw blade on right, that is, it's only cutting when you push that saw forward. So there's no need for it to be pressure on it and in contact with the blade when you pull back. You're just wearing out your blades prematurely. I put a little weight, push that across there, let it cut, pull it out, pull it back. Just like that. Oops. It takes a while. But anyway, if the sound bothers you, it gets better if you squirt a little drop of oil in that channel right there. It doesn't bother me, and I think I ran out of oil and forgot to replace it. So, I mean, I've got motor oil, but I just have to pour it out of the quart, and it would just make a big mess. Now, if you do choose to leave your saw blade there and pull back, release pressure. Like here, I'm pressing down. See, that saw blade gets a much better bite because I put a little pressure there. Okay? But now, if you choose to leave your saw blade in the groove, it's still not a good idea. But if you do, at least release this pressure and just let it ride on the metal instead of trying to force the blade, the back of the blade, the tooth of the blade against the metal as you pull. Okay? Again, just the way I do things, just what I've learned. Try it for yourself, though. If it doesn't work, go back to wearing out your blades quicker if you prefer. I just, you know, I ain't telling nobody how to do anything. I'm just telling them what works for me. Trying to share as much as I can before I can't share anything anymore. It's not that big a deal. Nothing. None of the little tips and tricks. Anything by itself, you may not have find a lot of value in, but well, they add up. At least I hope they do. That's the reason we're here. Not the reason we're here, but the reason we're on YouTube. I just thought it'd be nice to help people share what we've learned about various things. There's a lot of things that are new to us, and we're still learning. But there's other things that we've done for quite some time and we've got a pretty good handle on, and we'd like to share that. Oh, we're just about. Okay. Just about there. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Come on, man. Come out of there. There you go. Anyway, I think I got interrupted before I finished my original story here. What I'm doing is, I do a lot of stuff with pallets, but it's just getting to the point. It's just more than I can handle using a pry bar and a hammer to take these doggone pallets apart. but I hate to not be able to use them. Okay? So, what do I always do when I want to learn something? The first thing I do, I go to the World Wide Web. And more specifically, most of the time, it ends up being on YouTube what I'm looking for. Look there. 2 free tape measures from Harbor Freight. 2 of them that actually still work. Wow. Usually I use those for about 30 minutes and then throw them in the trash. I'm glad I had a couple to last. Okay, so I've got this piece. This is 8 inches. Okay, and now just quick and dirty here to give you an idea of what we're going to do. I've got to cut. I got to get a piece of metal here. Let me see if I need to back this camera up. I want you to be able to, yeah, I'm zoomed in on the, why didn't y'all tell me I was zoomed in wrong? Come on, but no, wrong way. Here we go, now we're doing it. Lord have mercy. Okay, there, now we can do this. Now, what I'm going to do here, let me get over here, is I'm going to take this piece of metal. This is 2-inch wide cold rolled steel, 1/4 inch thick, and I'm going to cut 2 7-inch pieces off of this. Okay, and then just to show you what I'm going to do, those 7-inch pieces are going to go on each end of this. I'm going to put one right there, like that, and weld it up. Then I'm going to put the other piece on this other side. And so we're going to end up with a fork with about a 3.5 to 4 inch gap in between them. Okay? That's where we are so far. So, now we get to do some more hacksawing. I tell you what, I sure spend a lot of quality time with a hacksaw. The Lord's going to provide me with one of them cut-off saws one of these days. It's got a metal cutting blade on it. I've got my miter saw, but it's a pretty nice saw, and I just kind of hate the idea. I'm going to let that, I'm going to really set. It'll make it cut at a bit of an angle, I think, but maybe I can do this. There we go. I'll lay that up here on the, back it up a little more here. No, that's not gonna, that might work. If the vise can get a bite on it. Okay, let me try to see if I've even got enough. Yep. I'm gonna go with about 7 inches, give or take. So I'm gonna make a mark. Right here. All right. Back to my speed square. Again. If this is 6 inches and 63/64, it ain't gonna matter. Even if it's 6 inches and 7/8, it ain't gonna matter. This is not that critical. Okay? Someday, I hope to have the ability to do things that are very precise. That's not today. Okay, so I will take and cut this piece off, and then I'll cut another one off just like it, and then I'll get back to y'all. Well, here I am again. There it is, folks. I skipped ahead a little, and I apologize. I kind of get busy when I can finally get to feeling good and my body motivated and myself and my mind motivated to actually get out here and get something done. I sometimes just jump in there and do it and kind of forget about the camera. I apologize. This angle iron here, let me take this loose here. It's not very tight anyway. Just got through welding on it. Yes, folks, I'm going to get some comments about my welding. Well, you know what? It looks like crap, but I think it'll hold. I'm not a professional welder. I don't charge people money to do this ugly stuff. It's probably been about 20 years since I welded. Even though, well, no, it ain't been that long. I'm going to say 8 years. And since then, I've had welder malfunctions that require me to have to use this nasty flux core wire rather than use gas shielding like I would prefer. So, this is not desirable. But one of these days, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, I'm going to get me another little home MIG set up with a gas bottle and everything so I can use CO2 or argon just like I used to. But for the time being, I do this for myself because I can't afford to pay anybody to do it for me. That's the only reason I weld right now in the first place. Well, I wouldn't. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do it. I could never be good enough at it to do it professionally anyway. But anyway, what I'm hoping is going to happen is I'm going to put this on the pallet, and it's going to pivot right here on the back of that angle iron, and I'm going to pry like that, and it's going to pop the board up. And this is still kind of hot, but I think I've got some pallets out here that we can try it out on, so let's do that.